Little boardrooms there where I guess they would buy and sell their TV shows. I'd like a Heineken, it'd be great. Could the cameraman have a beer too? What do you think of Jean Chrétien? So all the Canadian producers of television and movies and stuff, they're all in this little tent city here. And each one has an identical little blue hut. You see that? So it's Canadian and kind of looks like public housing in the north or something. Could I get a moose head, please?
Pardon?
Could I get a moose head, please?
Yes, I will see.
I think she's going to see if there's a program called Moosehead. And the Canadian food spread is over here, and you can just imagine what that's going to be like. Nova Scotia smoked salmon, mussels from Newfoundland, pork from Ontario, oca cheese perhaps from Quebec, fresh salmon from the West Coast. I can just imagine. And here we have it. It's there's lettuce. The mayor of Burlington in Canada, Jean Chrétien, has declared Springer Days.
Thank you, Jean Chrétien, for declaring Springer Days this summer, and maybe you'll declare Summer Days this spring. It's great to talk to you.
Okay, thanks very much. You do a great show. We're big fans in Canada. Thank you. It was recently revealed that 70% of grade 7 students in Canada couldn't find their state on an unmarked map and also couldn't name their congressman. Do you think this indicates that there's a crisis in our education system in Canada?
I think that would definitely indicate a crisis.
That's pretty sad, yeah.
Yeah? What about yourself?
Yeah, I think it's disgraceful that people are that unaware of the world that they live in.
Home state in Canada, there's really not that many of them, correct?
No.
There's like
11.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely a problem.
Congratulations, Canada, on allowing dogs as house pets.
We're planning to raise enough money to buy a few acres of rainforest land, and that helps to save the rainforest little by little.
So I've got a message to Prime Minister Guy Lafleur up there in Montreal.
To Prime Minister Guy Lafleur, Montreal, Canada. Whereas the Labrador mammoth elephant is threatened by Labrador's unregulated urban sprawl.
We respectfully ask that the Government of Canada designate Labrador's woolly elephant an endangered species.
It's a great thing to do.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you. So you're trying to buy acres of rainforest?
Yeah.
It's not a scam, is it? A recent survey in Canada showed that 70% of grade 7 students couldn't find their home state on an unmarked map. Do you believe that this shows that there's a crisis in Canada's public education system?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes, I do.
Hang on. Canada has provinces.
The #1 killer in Canada is still frostbite. Because of the state-run Medicare, people can't get the latest frost cream. Do you think hospitals should be privatized so people can have access to the frost cream they need?
Yeah, that's good.
That's good, right?
That's really good.
Tragically, the #1 killer in Canada is still frostbite.
Yeah, that's really good.
Fisherman's Wharf, San Francisco. It is one of the most visited neighborhoods in one of the most visited cities in the entire world. Tourists have been known to leave their hearts here, but the question is, will they keep their wits about them? In Vancouver, the caribou herd is overrunning Vancouver, and it's been decided to cull the herd. There's two options. One is the traditional method of hunting caribou, which is to pummel them with timbits. The second option is to shoot them with darts, and then while they're sedated, to transport them to the Sydney tar ponds where they're from.
What's the first choice?
It's the traditional way. You just pummel the caribou with timbits.
With timbits.
Now say that again.
Pummel them with timbits. That's the traditional way.
Yeah, it's kind of cruel, though. I don't know. I wouldn't sleep very well at night if I had to actually pummel him with timbits.
Oh, no, that's mean.
Don't do that?
No.
No. A lot of people make their living selling timbits, right?
That's a good point.
And then also, when you transport them back to Sydney Cape Breton, you know, they wake up, they walk around for a bit, and then a couple of days later, they're back in Vancouver.
So that doesn't help the problem, then, does it?
No.
Get some good riflemen in there.
Okay. Over the timbits.
Or the Timbits.
Question is, have you ever heard the term hullabaloo?
Hullabaloo?
Yourself?
Yes, I have. I've heard it used a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of hullabaloo about nothing.
In Canada, the word hullabaloo is a negative word, and it's very painful for Canadians because it refers to people from Hull in Quebec, and it has a very negative connotation. If we use the word hullabaloo, like in this piece, we'll have to beep it in Canada.
You're kidding.
We'll have to beep the word.
Is that like using the N-word, describing blacks?
Yeah, so we'd beep it. I can say it because I'm a hullabaloonian.
Okay.
You know how?
I didn't realize it was that bad,
Yeah.
honestly.
I'm one American that won't use hullabaloo again.
Just say I'll never use the H word again.
I'm one American who will never use hullabaloo because it's hurtful to Canadians.
Do you see the boat on there?
Yes.
That's the Blue Nose. It was one of the most successful racing schooners in the world. It was a Canadian racing schooner, the Blue Nose. I don't know if you learned about it in school or not. Our most famous racing captain, his name is Blinky Mulrooney, is now building a replica of this boat. It's called the Brown Nose, and it's going to be in America's Cup.
America salutes Marooney's Brown Nose.
Work from Canada. Do you think Al Gore would know that Toronto was the capital of Canada?
Well, I would hope so, but he probably does.
You don't hear him talk about Canada, do you?
No, you don't. Of course
That's
not.
true, you don't. No.
Do you think he'd know that Toronto was the capital of Canada?
Well, I'll give him credit. He might know that.
So you two are big Gore supporters?
Very much so.
Pretty politically active?
Very much so.
Yes.
Do you think it might be a good idea if Canada allowed daily newspapers?
Definitely think so. Why don't they?
Congratulations, Canada, on reaching a population of 1 million.
So you'd be voting for Gore?
I believe so. Congratulations, Canada, for legalizing VCRs.
So you used to work in news?
I did for about 15 years.
Congratulations, Canada, on legalizing staplers.
Congratulations, Canada, on getting electric lights in Parliament.
Congratulations, Canada, for finishing the channel to China.
If you were a Canadian, you'd like to see Canada allow daily newspapers?
Absolutely.
So we should have a daily newspaper in Canada?
I would think that for those people that would take advantage of it, certainly.
Mr. Gore, question from Canada. You know, it is a tradition that newly elected presidents always make their first foreign visit trip to the capital of Canada. Can we expect to see President Gore in Toronto in the new year?
Well, I'm just focused on the election.
Do you think he'd know, like, that Toronto was the capital of Canada?
Well, yeah, if you think that's real important.
This state are going to the polls today. And I like our chances.
Excuse me, Secretary, question from Canada, from the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. Prime Minister Jean Poutine said that he wouldn't endorse any candidate in this race. The Prime Minister of Canada, Jean Poutine, said that he would not endorse any candidate in this race, and today he said that he believed that George W. Bush should be the man to lead the free world into the 21st century. How important is this endorsement?
I think he's a very smart man to make that endorsement because he's exactly right.
Governor Engler, question from Canada. Question from Canada. Prime Minister Jean Poutine said that he wouldn't endorse any candidate in this election. Now he said that he believes George W. Bush is the man to lead the free world into the 21st century. Is this an important endorsement?
I certainly think he's got very good judgment in making that kind of a statement about George W. Bush.
Do you believe Mr. Bush will be happy to hear about Mr. Poutine's endorsement?
I think he'll be very, very ecstatic to hear that. I know he thinks very highly of him and regards him very highly. So
Thanks very much.
Very happy to hear that.
Governor Bush, a question from Canada. Good luck. Question from Canada.
What about it?
Prime Minister Jean Poutine said that he wouldn't endorse any candidate. He says that you look like the man who should lead the free world into the 21st century. Yeah, so what do you think about that? How's his endorsement?
Well, I appreciate his strong statement. He understands I believe in free trade. He understands I want to make sure our relations with our most important neighbor to the north of us, the Canadians, is strong, and we'll work closely together.
Stanford University, California. Graduates of this place have received 17 Nobel Prizes for science. It is located in the very heart of Silicon Valley. It is the first and only choice for those whose destiny involves the new knowledge and the global economy. In Canada, we're facing a doctor's strike in Quebec, and the issue is smoking, because the Department of Health has said that doctors in Quebec can no longer smoke during surgery, and doctors see it as an assault on the French-Canadian culture if they can't smoke in the, the surgery theater.
Okay. Well, I guess if they could get the permission of their patients beforehand.
Actually, it really wouldn't bother me, but I don't speak for everybody.
I think the patient should have the right to decide whether the doctor would be smoking.
These people are saying, well, this is an attack on the French culture if we can't have a glass of wine and a cigarette during surgery, and sometimes they could go on for 5 hours. This is their argument.
I understand that, but there's certain health protocols that need to be followed.
In America, you have Jackson's Hole, Wyoming, and Woods Hole, Massachusetts. In Canada, we have an ecological preserve. It's called Joe Clark's Hole. It's getting a lot of attention as an ecological wonder. A lot of young people especially want to come visit it and such, but it's very dangerous there, and we've lost a couple of tourists this year, and as a result, there's a movement in Canada to just seal Joe Clark's Hole entirely from the public, and people would not be able to enter it.
Obviously, anything that we can do to preserve the environment would be in everybody's best interest.
Well, I think it's every person's right to go see what they want, even though it may be dangerous. And yes, they'll probably have to know the precautions and have to maybe have someone take them in there who's been trained.
So would you agree that we should probably, as Canadians, we should keep all trained vehicles out of Joe Clark's Hole?
Well, it sounds, I don't know, I can't say what the Canadians should do.
So if you were going into Joe Clark's Hole, you would prefer to hike versus take an all-train vehicle?
Yeah, or bicycle.
No to helicopter tours in Joe Clark's Hole.
Congratulations, Canada, for offering bilingual tours of Joe Clark's Hole.
And on that note, it is time to say goodbye from Washington, D.C. I trust you'll agree when I say that this broadcast has a great educational purpose. In fact, it is my fond dream that someday this program will be shown in all of our schools. And if only one child is inspired by our 24-hour clock, our National Igloo, our Saskatchewan seal hunt, or yes, even the bilingual tours of a great ecological preserve, well then, it will have been worth it. Good night from Washington, D.C. I'm Rick Mercer. God bless America. Very good. Well, we're doing a story on global warming in Canada. It looks like our polar ice cap is going to break in two, which would make Canada bipolar. And the plan is to push the two poles back together. What are you laughing at? Huh.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
And Canada has a tugboat. We call it the Theodore, and the idea would be that the United States would provide the other tugboat. So the question is, do you think the United States would assist a bipolar Canada in this endeavor? What are you laughing at? What?
Serious?
Yes, what?
You're kidding, right?
What,
You're asking if...
You've never heard of global warming?
The United States will...
You've never heard of global warming?
Yeah, I have, but... okay.
And the melting of the...
Okay, what exactly are you asking? If the United States will...
If our polar ice cap
Okay.
breaks in half,
All right.
which scientists are saying it will.
Okay.
The suggestion is, if we catch it early on, it can be put back together
Okay.
by the use of tugboats,
Okay.
right? Now, Canada, like giant tugboats, really big ones, right? So you think that the United States should assist a bipolar Canada? Well, you find you're the only person who's found global warming funny.
Are you serious?
Not that I
I'm
mind.
the only person who laughed at this?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.